Hello everyone, Reaction Gaming Esports here with JkAru19, the main tank player for Montreal Rebellion. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is JkAru19, but my real name is Lou Power. I play main tank for Montreal Rebellion. Played in the last 2 seasons of contenders, one in the EU and one in NA. Yeah, I play Orisa nowadays.
Well, it's great to have you here, Arisa Wondrick.
Yes.
What did you enjoy about playing for Montreal Rebellion in contenders?
One of the most enjoyable things, especially for a player like me who's quite inexperienced with competitive level, is to play around such experienced players like Goliath and Smex and learning from them and improving a lot with the team, with the experienced coaches and a lot of the experienced players. It's probably the most enjoyable thing about playing with all those guys.
Yeah, and you've even got EXO Watch League stars on a team like Mistakes as well.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
I mean, Mistakes is he's like really fun to play with, especially because he's a funny guy, but he's also he knows a lot about the game, and he's probably the most experienced player on our team, especially at the highest level. He's played at the highest level, and for a few weeks I did play with Logix before he got moved up. So it's the same sort of thing with Logix.
Oh, nice, that's awesome. And so, what were the biggest hurdles you faced when getting into Tier 2 Overwatch, moving up from Tier 3?
Well, when I moved up from a Tier 3 team called All Planned, and then into SMC, which is She's Money Crew. And at that time, it was hard goods meta. The hardest thing was to adjust my Ryan play style into a Tier 2 scene, because I mean I was a Ryan one trick because it was goats, and having to play against main tank players like Lolsish and Chubbs, it was very hard to wait. It wasn't hard. It was a big hurdle to overcome, like getting my Ryan to the level. But I managed to do it thanks to the help of my coaches on SMC, like Almost Panda, to get my Ryan at a really Tier 2 level.
And as someone has played in both European contenders and North American contenders, do you think there's a difference between the two really in any regard? Do you think maybe one's better than the other, or is it maybe differences in play style or team organisation at all?
Well, originally when I was an EU player, I definitely thought EU was the superior region, especially with goats. I thought we had the best style, we had the best way, we had the best understanding and knowledge of how to play it. And I thought that all the way until the Atlantic Showdown, when the EU teams just got destroyed by the NA teams. And then my perception changed a bit, and then I went and joined an NA team, and I realized that although EU's really they're very good with like understanding metas and having like that sort of being able to adapt things quickly and get really good at them. The NA they pick the best EU players and the best Korean players and the best NA players and put them all into the same region, which just makes the region so much better than any of the other regions for contenders, in my opinion.
Yeah, North America has been picking apart European contenders recently.
Yeah, I mean that Atlantic Showdown was just embarrassing for EU, and I really thought EU were just so much better than. Like I thought Hurricane were going to roll over everyone, but it didn't happen. So to be fair to them, they did have like some inexperienced players, so you could see why they weren't able to perform like on a high stage.
Yeah. Yeah, they've even taken Numlocked from us now. What do we have left? But fortunately, in EU contenders, we have the very unique ability to pull out a Torbjorn whenever we want and make it work.
Yes, we have the unique ability of being able to play whatever we want and making it meta in EU.
We just do what we want. If we want to run tanks, we'll run tanks. If we want to run Torbjorn, we will run Torbjorn.
Yes. Actually, interesting fact about I'm sort of friends with. I've been queuing with like Moose and stuff recently. We used to have a good rivalry with me and CV. I mean, I've played them twice, like back in OD before they were CV when they were no EuroTP, and we beat them as well. And then we played them in Jane's tournament in SMC and we beat them. So I like to have that little. I've never lost to CV, 2-0, never lost, perfect record. Whereas some of my friends in EU, when I jumped over to NA, had to lose to them.
When they suddenly exploded and just suddenly started crushing everyone.
I mean, it's to be fair, it's pretty fun to watch them play, but it's also I know how it feels like to play against them, and it's not very nice.
Oh, I'm glad I don't have to do that. But yeah, Moose is a great guy. I actually got to interview him at one point. He's just a really
Yeah,
nice
I
guy.
read for the interview. It was pretty good.
And so, are you overall happy with how you played in the most recent season contenders? Obviously, you guys had a pretty good score finishing up this most recent season.
I mean, we did pretty good. We got better as the season went on, but then in playoffs, we failed to really understand how to play that comp, like the May Reaper comp, which is unfortunate. But I do feel like uh, where my Orisa started before playoffs and where it ended, it definitely got a lot better. So I'm actually I was pretty happy with how much I improved since joining Montreal. But I would have been a lot happier if I could have showed how good I was on Winston instead of playing Orisa all the time. But unfortunate.
I imagine a lot of main tank players probably feel the same way. It's
Yes,
like you get to show how amazing your shield placement is.
it's really unfortunate because Winston's like the hero I'm just naturally best at. But he's never been hard meta when I've been in tier 2. I've always had to play someone else, which is pretty unfortunate. But my time will come when Winston's hard meta. My time will come and I'll be able to play him. Just got to have some patience.
Well, you never know what's going to be meta. I mean, a year and a half ago, we all thought Reinhardt was dead, and then Goats happened. So
True.
you never really know. And now, going from your most recent time in Overwatch, how did it all begin for you in Overwatch? How did you get into the competitive scene? Where did you start? Were you always a
Mm,
main tank player?
well, originally I played Overwatch on the PS4 because I was a console player my entire life. I played games casually my entire life. I never really thought about playing them, like taking it seriously. And then I was like a silver Junkrat player on PS4. And then I bought a PC and I got it on PC. And for some reason, I just only played Ryan. And I pretty much one-tricked Ryan up until like 3.8. And then I one-tricked Winston. And then I started to play the game seriously after I one-tricked Winston. And then I got into competitive play because my close friend, who's also a player, he plays for a team called Regem Esports. He got me into playing to join his team, some NA team, about 2.5 years ago, and that got me into playing like scrimming and trying to take the game seriously. And then eventually, I just went into different teams, and then I ended up in All Planned, and then playing with All Planned like kickstarted my career, like professional career. I mean, to be fair, it's like I've kind of for how inexperienced I was, I've sort of climbed up the ladder pretty fast, which is uh, something I'm proud of.
Yeah, let's hope you can keep on climbing and get to Overwatch League at some
Yeah,
point.
that would be great.
Would definitely be. And so, I'd like to just talk about the tank role in general for a bit here because it's been shaken up recently with the introduction of Sigma. Main tank and
Yeah.
off tank is no longer such a there's no longer such a clear division now. And are you overall happy with the state of the main tank role at the minute?
I think the introduction of Sigma, I wouldn't classify him as an off tank. I'd still consider him a main tank, but just because of how good him and Orisa are as heroes, like it's sort of forced one of them to become an off tank. I think they're very strongly overpowered. Orisa, in my opinion, needed a nerf for a while. I think the nerfs like can be pretty easy for her as well. You just have to nerf her fortify, and then I think she won't be as picked as much. And then Sigma needs cooldowns on his shielding, so he can't spam shield. And then I think he'd be a bit more less OP. But I'm not that happy with the way main tank is at the moment. It's putting a lot of actually thinking about it. I'm kind of in the middle because although it's not very engaging, but like it's not like you're playing Winston or Ryan and you have these clutch moments. But as a wrestler, if you don't do your job, if you don't do it well, then you will get rolled over by the enemy team. If you misface a shield or if you mistime your fortify, it's very, very it's people joke about how easy it is to play Orisa, but at the high level, it's very, very in like between the wire of like if you don't do something perfect, you will lose. So it's actually quite rewarding to be good at the hero, even though it is quite easy to pick up.
Yeah, it's a thankless job. If I were
And then,
to liken this to goats in a sense, in the goats competition, once Azaria had used her personal bubble, the whole team would rush her, right?
yeah,
Is it kind of the same with Arisa if she uses a fortify
I think
at the appropriate time?
it's the other way around. It's like imagine if Fortify was Zarya's friendly bubble. That's pretty much what it is. Like imagine Rissa is the Rhine, and then her Fortify is Zarya's friendly bubble, and then when the friendly bubble is gone, you rush the Rhine. I think it's like that instead of the self bubble. Because I think in that meta or in that comp, the Reaper is the Zarya. Like if you were to compare it to Goats,
Oh, okay.
or yeah, the Reaper's a Zarya, and I'd say the Doomfist is Brig because Doomfist is just overpowered and Brig is overpowered. So
All the crowd
or
control.
was yeah.
Well, Arisa may not be potentially the most rewarding hero, I guess. After all the time you had playing Reinhardt in Goats
Yeah.
and Winston before and Dive, it's
I
kind of
mean, we played floats a few times in SMC. There was one week where I hard forced us to play floats, and we ended up winning 4-0. So I still stand to this day saying that floats is the best meta and the best comp that's ever been and there ever will be.
oh really, I with my opinion with Goats was how it was. If you were to watch two good Goats teams face off against each other, it was beautiful. But if you were to see
Yeah.
two kind of not the best on that competition, two teams who weren't well practiced and had their coordination down to a T, it just looked sloppy, and you could
Yeah,
really
I agree.
tell the mistakes really easily in Goats.
I think the goats meta, although it wasn't, I can see why it's not appealing to the majority of the viewers. For people like who played the comp, like I would say for like the tier 3 players, the tier 2 players, the tier 1 players, and the people in that sort of community, I feel like Goats was like extremely fun to watch because you know like what they're actually thinking in game and what they're doing and stuff. But for the casual viewer, like don't really understand what's like the what's actually going on in the fights. So I can see why it's not like with dive and double sniper. It's kind of obvious. Double sniper is just they click heads and it's fun to watch. Well, it's not very fun to play, but it's fun to watch. And in dive, it's like it can be somewhat chaotic, but you kind of understand what's going on. But like with goats, it's quite it's very cooldown based, and if you don't understand what's really going on, then you're not really going to enjoy watching it.
Yeah,
But it is unfortunate. It was the meta that made me a pro player, so I do miss it a lot.
yeah, and it's probably I think it's probably a good introduction to pro play because you can't really just rely on mechanical skill at all, really, can you? Unless you're a Zarya with nuts
Yeah.
tracking. Really teaches you how to work as a single unit. It teaches you engagements, disengagements, and let's be honest, a lot of people who first get into pro play don't know how to disengage properly. It teaches you ultimate tracking, ultimate economy, and
I
gives
mean,
you
there's
all
a
the
reason
skills
it
you need.
was ran for so long. It's because it was the best. It was the best composition for so long because it was the best for solo plays and the best for teamwork. Like it was just the best thing,
Bar none,
and
it was very.
I, I miss it quite a lot.
I remember watching it. I didn't like it at first. Then around the end of stage 1 of Overwatch League, then I started to enjoy watching it. But then by the end of stage 3, I was kind of like, okay, this kind of being around for long enough.
I mean, goats. In my opinion, watching goats like play is always been best in contenders level because it's. I feel like because we played it for in contenders at least a lot sooner than the our players. It was at a sort of higher level. Like I remember there was when the our teams first picked up goats. Everyone in the EU was always talking about Giganti are rolling every our team they scrim. Like and different like rumors and this about how contenders teams are just rolling all the out teams in goats.
Really? Was that
But then yeah, but then I remember this stage or not this year, sorry, when Shock like and Vancouver just they just took goats to like another level.
Yeah, that was just an epic game. I can't think of a better
Yeah.
way to put it. It was just incredible to watch, and then the comeback story was amazing. And hopefully we may see a Shock versus Titans grand final in the Overwatch League, and I'm really
Well,
excited for that.
after seeing Shock 4-0 Spark, I would definitely say there's a big possibility.
I
Very disappointing.
I hope so.
I, I got to see 1 second of Gooshray Winston, and it was at the very end of the game when he just picked it for some reason.
Well, it better than nothing, I guess.
Yep.
And we've talked a little about metagame games here. What would be your dream metagame? Say no roll lock was a thing. In fact, we'll do one where roll lock is no longer a thing, and one with roll lock. What would be your dream
Okay.
non-roll lock meta, and what would be your dream roll lock meta?
The non-Rollock meta, it will have to be floats. Winston Goats. It was my favorite comp to play because Winston's my favorite hero, and it was Goats. And I just felt like I understood how to play that comp so well compared to other comps out there. So definitely for no Rollock, it would be floats. But for Rollock, I'm really not sure. I've had a lot of fun playing Ryan Winston duo keys in ranked. So maybe some sort of Ryan Winston meta would be pretty fun. But I think maybe just the classic dive, or even like one sniper and a dive hero with dive tanks and Annalise would just be
Yeah,
the
well,
just a fun meta to play.
if you're interested, someone is doing a classic dive tournament where it only allows Winston Diva, Tracer, Genji, Soldier, Old Mercy with 5-man res, and Lucio, I believe it is.
5-man res. I don't think I'd want to play with that again. bring back the Moth Mercy, the when she first got the Valkyrie changes.
She was
That was
busted.
dreadful.
Oh,
She was so
thankfully I've
good.
never been a pro player, so I never had to worry about that.
Thankfully, I wasn't. I don't think I was playing that much pro play when that came out. I only really got into hard into pro play when Goats came around. So I'm in the same sort of boat.
Yeah, I was like, the Mercy meta was when I really started watching competitive Overwatch for 2017 World Cup, and
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
I remember watching that from my wait, which one was it? The 20? I know I watched the 2018 World Cup from my uni room when I was at uni. But 2017, I don't think I was watching that one. That was the one with when they did the grab through the window on Iconvard, right?
No, that was 2016,
That was ages ago.
a long
Which
time ago.
wait, 2017 was one where Sinatra really popped off and against Korea, right?
Yes, and
Yeah, that
2016
one.
was when
Yeah.
Lynx played Reinhardt.
Ah, was an odd time. I don't think I was watching it in 2016.
Yes, it was really interesting. Oh, and Muselk played for Team Australia as well. So
It's quite a weird time.
I'm pretty sure Zappis played Zenyatta as well. That wasn't. You know what? 2016 was an interesting year.
It was.
And so, what are your future plans for Overwatch? Is it just continue to grind on stream until the next season contenders, or is there something else planned in the meantime?
I mean, right now for me, it's just grind. Wait until the next contender season, or if there's any other. I mean, I don't think there will be, but any other tier 2 tournaments that we may get invited to. But for that, it's just keep on grinding and hope for the best. Just hope that the meta it gets better by the time I have to play pro play again.
Yep, hopefully Reinhardt or Winston or Wrecking Ball are back. Any chance? Count this as the main tank equivalent of Brig Gel. You had your time in the spotlight,
It
and now
is.
you've got to
It
pay.
is. It is true. I mean, I remember grinding out Arista nearly 6 hours a day for 2 weeks straight. Really, really
Oh,
put me on the brink. I was going a bit crazy, but in the end, it was worth it. I mean, it was worth it to get the knowledge of how to play the hero, increase my knowledge, but unfortunately, things didn't work out with us in playoffs.
I mean, you've still got to call it a success entirely, though.
Yeah, because we didn't crash and burn, so I would say it was a success. But still, we could have done a lot better as well.
Well, that's what next year's for.
Exactly. There's always next year.
And well, I think that's all the questions I have. Thank you very much for coming on here.
Thank you for having me.
If the viewers would like to see more of your content, where could they find you?
They could find me at my Twitch, which I don't know off by heart because I barely go on it. So unfortunately, let me just at twitch.tv/JkAru19, or they could follow my Twitter, which is at JkAru19. But that's the only sort of. I mean, I barely ever stream. I only really stream when I'm in the mood, and I'm not really in the mood that much. So,
Well, I'll leave a link for both in the description. If you'd like to see more of me, follow me on Twitter at ReactionGame3, where I post all articles and interviews and any other work I may produce. Right, thank you very much for being on here, and we'll see you guys in the next one.